Hi there everybody, it's me Gemma coming to you from lockdown, and if there was ever a chance to wear my Agent Carter hat and bright red lipstick, I think this is pretty much it. So I wanted to just do a little video of favourites, things I think are going to be good for distraction while we're all in quarantine or lockdown or whatever you're doing. If you're a key worker, if you're still out, you know, doing essential things, then thank you very much, and I hope that you're staying safe. My mum is actually a key worker, she's out still working, so is my stepdad, so obviously I'm quite worried about them, but yes, I am worried about them. So I know that we all are either playing Animal Crossing or have Disney Plus. I am in the group that has Disney Plus, and I have watched, I believe, Emperor's New Groove, Muppet Treasure Island, Lilo and Stitch, all my kind of favourites, and I'm probably going to watch Coco as well because I love Coco. So I wanted to start off with some books that I would recommend to read while you are stuck in the house. So first of all is some YA sci-fi. This is Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray, and it follows two characters, Noemi and Abel. Noemi is a pilot and Abel is an android, and they are on the opposite sides of a war, and it's a lovely, not to spoil anything, but it's a lovely relationship between the two of them that really grows throughout the book. I really enjoyed it. If you're in the mood for a bit of sort of light sci-fi, then I would say this is a good one. Also, I just read Illumine by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Probably most of you have already read that, so I didn't pick that one up to recommend, but this, in my opinion, has been criminally underrated. And Noemi is also a person of colour. There's loads of good representation in this book. Just read it. And then this is one I've never seen anyone else mention, and it's called The Raging Quiet by Cheryl Jordan, and it is set in sort of post-medieval, early Christian period and feudal sort of Europe. And it's about a girl called Marnie who, in order to keep her family in a home, her dad's really ill, she agrees to marry the landlord's son, and it's not a good marriage. Things happen, and Marnie ends up being accused of witchcraft, and she also develops a relationship with a sort of local outcast, a deaf boy named Raven. Now this does have some like witchcraft and witch trials and things in it, but it is YA. I would say probably tending towards older YA, like 16, 17 rather than younger, because there is sexual assault in this book. It's not graphic, but Marnie's marriage is not good and her husband is not good to her either. So I've read this a million times. You can see how yellow the spine is. I think I've had this for about 20 years. And it's followed me from move to move. I've never gotten rid of it, even when, you know, even when I've been doing clear outs, because I just love this book. And yeah, I think if you've got teenage girls especially, this would be a good one. Now, I'm going to get on my hobby horse again for John Connolly. The Charlie Parker Mysteries has been going for 20 years, and there's, I think we're up to book 15 in the series now. I have most of these in hardback now. Since I started reading them, I always get them when they first come out in hardback because I really love John Connolly and I love these books. It's a series about a private detective named Charlie Parker who, in the first book, his wife and daughter are killed by a serial killer called the Travelling Man, and the Travelling Man believes he is something supernatural, and Charlie Parker becomes involved in all of this, trying to obviously find the Travelling Man and destroy him, and things just progress on there for him. He has quite a cast of side characters, though my favourite two side characters are Angel and Louis, who are Gay Assassins in Love. I love it. Well, Angel's more of a thief, but they are his main sort of support network. And as the books have gone on, it has gotten more supernatural, and I know some people have been a bit funny about that, but I really love it. I love the supernatural element of it. It's so creepy. It's got a bit of the folk horror sort of feel about it, especially when you get to like Women in the Woods. And also it's made me never trust Anabaptists ever, because in any book series I read, the Anabaptists are always bad, so don't trust. Insert that picture of Father Ted going, the Protestants are up to something again. Then a recent series, Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I finished this trilogy yesterday, and it is Ash Princess, Lady Smoke and Ember Queen. The three of them are about a girl called Theodosia. She is technically the queen of a conquered country, and her sort of enemies, the people who conquered the country, keep her on display in the court and call her the Ash Princess. Her mother was the Fire Queen. And it's all about Theodosia sort of taking back her name, taking back her identity, and sort of trying to free the people in her country who are enslaved. I really enjoyed this. I pretty much binged the 3 books in like 2 days. It's a bit of a dark YA. It's not very romance focused, which I kind of also like. There is a romance in it, but it's not, you know, it's not to the forefront, and it never stops Theodosia from making decisions that she has to make, which I thought was really great. There's a line in here about, I think it's in the second book, where she's talking about someone knowing the darkest parts of you and still accepting them, because she has to do sort of things she knows are morally grey, because she has to do it for her country and to save them. So I really recommend Ash Princess and The Fall. Now I'm also going to recommend The Hobbit. This is my really nice copy of The Hobbit. I also have one from, I think, when I was a kid that my granddad used to read to me, and it has like the beautiful maps as the end papers. I don't even know if you can still get this edition. I think I bought it in Borders. That's how long ago I bought it. I bought it in Borders, and it's, if you don't know the story, it's about a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins who goes on an adventure with the wizard Gandalf and some dwarfs to go and take back their kingdom of Erebor. It was made into some movies by Peter Jackson, which were okay, but I don't think they quite captured the feel of the book, and I think stretching them out into 3 films was a bit much, especially for such a sort of slim volume. But if you have not read it, I thoroughly recommend it, and if you have children, it is a really good one to read out loud, because you can do lots of different voices and there's songs to sing and stuff like that, so it's a really good one to actually read out loud to people. So The Hobbit. And I also want to recommend some non-fiction. This is Strangers, Homosexual Love in the 19th Century by Graham Robb. Now this copy, as you can see, has been battered to hell. I bought this book brand new, and I've lent it out and had it back, and sort of read it through several times, and it's really uncovering the story of homosexuality in the sort of Victorian Edwardian period. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It covers like literature, plays, current events, all that kind of stuff, and it's got some really nice sort of plates and illustrations as well. I think one thing this really does show is that it's never been that secret. You know, it's always existed, and I think people are like, homosexuality was invented in the 80s, but it wasn't, and this is a really good one if you are into queer history at all. And finally, I am once more going to shill for the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, because I love it. I have read this one, I think I mentioned every favourites video, I've read it 15 times, something like that. I've got copies on my Kindle as well for if I want to read it on holiday. It is now, the tropes in it now are overdone, I suppose, you know, the chosen one trope and all that kind of stuff. By the time when Robert Jordan started writing this, there was no Game of Thrones or anything like that. It wasn't as common as it is now. And also I really love the world building in this. It's out there, like so detailed. If you want a world to just fall into, then this is it. There are things about it that aren't perfect. The gender dynamics in it can be weird and you know, that kind of stuff, but if you can look past that, you will really like this. It is, if you don't know, about a world where a big cataclysm happened. Basically, there was, oh, just fix my head there. There was a big cataclysm, things went really badly wrong, and they are living in the aftermath of this going wrong. So there are magic users called channelers, but at the moment there's only female channelers, because if you are a male channeler, you will go mad because of the taint caused by this cataclysm. And we start the story off with 3 boys who live in a village called Omens, Rand, Matt and Perrin, and their lives are thrown into disarray when one of these female magic users, these channelers, turns up and says, look, you guys need to leave here for reasons. And it just, oh, this is my favourite series probably, like the Bone Dolls twin as well, but I always reread The Wheel of Time. I can't wait for the Amazon TV series, and yeah, I hope I'm not disappointed. But if you're off being quarantined, a 13-book series might be a good idea. Okay, so I'm gonna talk now about some non-book media, and first of all, I'm going to recommend Greedfall. This is a really recent release in the past kind of 4 months, and it is an RPG set in a fantasy world where you are going to an island called Tier 3. You are looking for a cure for an illness that is decimating your country, but of course things aren't as simple as they seem, and there are people that already live on the island that aren't too pleased about, you know, your culture, your people going there and colonising them. So there is a lot of complicated dynamics with that. It's not like a AAA graphics level game. It's a good, solid RPG. I really liked it. I'll play it again. I thought the companions were good. I really liked the combat system. If you're more into the story than the combat, I think this would really suit you. So yeah, Greedfall, good solid 30 plus hours of playing and good replay value as well. I really liked it. Now, other game I'm going to recommend is Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda is the unloved child of the Mass Effect series. It's for pretty good reason in a couple of ways. It was rushed out by BioWare after they were bought by EA, and when it first came out, the graphics were not what you would expect from Mass Effect at all. And for that reason, it's never had any DLCs, it's never had any additional content come out, much to my despair, but it has a good story. It is about a set of twins. Essentially you can play as the male or the female twin, and you have just arrived in a new galaxy. Your father set up the Andromeda Initiative basically to try and find new planets for humans to live on, and you are on the human arc. You are arriving in Andromeda and things go from there. I really loved the storyline of this. I loved the new cultures. I thought the landscapes were absolutely gorgeous, and I just really liked it. I've played it through so many times. Don't get me wrong, it does have problems, it really does, but I love Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm heartbroken that we've never had any DLCs, especially to do with the Quarian arc. So very good, would recommend, really liked. And then some movies and some TV. So Venom. Venom is like, when did this come out? 2018? It came out in 2018, but it, like so many people said it, and it's true, it really feels like it's from like 2005, and I mean that in a good way. It's got a soundtrack by like Eminem, but basically Tom Hardy is mumbling his way through it. He picks up an alien parasite, there's like homeless people going missing, and there's an evil parasite who wants to eat lots of people. So I really enjoyed it. Venom 2 is in production. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but I came out of the cinema and I was like, that was so bad. It was so good. Was it deliberate? I don't know, but I loved it. And then we have Good Omens. This is my steelbook copy, as you can see, with lovely David Tennant on the back and Michael Sheen on the other side. And Good Omens came out last year. What can I say about Good Omens that I haven't already said? I love it. It was produced by Amazon and BBC, and it really does have that feel of like the best of BBC fantasy dramas. I think as well, I love the book, and it went so well, I think, because Neil Gaiman was so heavily involved in the writing and the production and things like that. So even though it doesn't stick to the story beat by beat, it still has that feel of Good Omens from the book, and I just really love it. I've watched it so many times. I love the extras on this. Yeah, I'll watch it again and again, and it's very feel good, because in Good Omens, if you don't know, the apocalypse is coming, but there are people doing things to stop it, and they do manage to, spoiler alert, avert the apocalypse. Now this one's not going to shock anyone, and it's the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. Now if you have either BritBox or Netflix, I believe the 1995 drama is also on there, and I love the 1995 version. I love it. I love Jennifer L. She is, oh, I love the 1995 version, but I also love the 2005 version, and I love the music in the 2005 version so much. So I don't think I really need to explain Pride and Prejudice to anyone, but if you haven't watched it yet, now would also be a good time. And if you also have Netflix, there is another one called North and South with Richard Armitage in it. I highly recommend it. It's set in like the late Victorian period. It's got love, it's got angst, cotton mills, whatever. Just love it. So then I would also recommend The Shape of Water, and this came out in 2017 and 2018, and you've probably heard of it. It's about a deaf woman who meets basically the creature from the Black Lagoon and falls in love. It's amazing. It's Guillermo del Toro, and it has that whimsy and that just really nice feeling about it. Like, it takes place in a world just a couple removed over from ours. You know, it's not like totally fantastical. It has elements that are really grounded in reality, and it's just a really lovely romance. And yeah, I just really love it. If you've not seen it yet, watch it. So that is some recommendations for books and media. I will also pop some podcast recommendations down below if you're looking for podcasts. I would recommend, there are some fiction podcasts I recommend. Kakos Industries, Helping You Do Evil Better, which takes the form of like announcements to a company. Really funny, really cool. Limetown, I believe Facebook actually has a Limetown TV series now, but Limetown, the podcast, is about a town that goes completely missing and the reporter trying to find out what happened. I also recommend The Black Tapes, which is a sort of supernatural occult one. And if you've not ever listened to Welcome to Night Vale, now would be a good time. There's hundreds of episodes, and now that we've finally got the time to catch up, it might be a good time. So if you have any recommendations, please do leave them below. I will continue to wear my Agent Carter hat as much as I can, because it was a present from my very best friend. She brought me it back from America, and I always think to myself, it's too good to wear, or I'll look silly or whatever. But, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and if I want to wear this hat, I will goddamn wear this hat. So take care of yourselves, stay safe, wash your hands. I'll see you next time. Bye.